Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of I Think I Hate Movies. I'm your co-host John.
And I'm Ray.
As always, lovely to be here.
Oh, ditto.
How are you, Red?
What? Huh?
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
That was a weird, unnatural response. Are you fine?
Yes.
Okay.
How are you is a weird question to ask.
It is a weird question. Welcome to the podcast. Our first section is our new segment. So we'll do some quick hits here. Interesting news. Alicia Vikander of Ex Machina fame has been cast as the new Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider reboot. I thought she was pretty good in Ex Machina. It's a really good movie, actually. I thought she was really good in that movie.
I liked her in Royal Affair.
Yeah.
The movie's alright. The acting is very good.
One of those movies where the story's not good enough to lift the rest of the movie
I don't know.
apart.
If you're a history buff, you might be really into it. I never read the history of it. It's one of those topics that I don't really like. You know, royalty and all.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah. So it might be worth watching if you know a lot about Danish history.
Was she in the Danish Girl?
She
as well?
was. I have not seen that
speaking
yet
of.
either.
Yeah, kind of disappointed that Hollywood's still rebooting franchises and no one has, which is weird because Ex Machina was, although it's based on a lot of science fiction literature and tropes, it was still doing something different and it was new. So to see her do a reboot of an existing franchise is kind of disappointing, but I don't know, it could be alright. I was never into the Tomb Raider lore or
I didn't even play
fandom.
the games.
Yeah. The new games look alright. If you're into that. So moving on, in somewhat related news, actress Megan Fox has voiced that she wants to play Indiana Jones. That's her dream role. Can you see that happening?
Sure.
Sure. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you don't have to act well to be Indiana Jones.
You have to.
If
very one note.
right.
But
if they're trying to remake Indiana Jones and make it something better than what it was.
Well, that'll never be better than what it was. You know.
True.
Or I shouldn't say that because
It can be worse
it can
than what.
be. Well, yeah, it can be better than it was. But what it was is so steeped in that time period.
Exactly.
And like the tropes that it uses and like the, you know, because it's based off these old serial
It was a throwback,
adventures.
and
It's
now
a
it'd be a
throwback,
throwback
right.
to a throwback.
Yeah, like I agree that I think Harrison Ford needs to get out of there as Indy, and I would welcome a female lead in as Indy, as androgynous as that name is.
It's a dog's name.
Yeah, exactly. Star a dog. Just do
Oh my god, I would totally support that if it was Indiana Jones the dog, the
Air
movie.
Indy, starring a bunch of yellow labs or
No,
golden retrievers.
you ruined it!
Ha! I win. Yeah. So that was just like an off the cuff interview with I think it was GameSpot or something. He was promoting something else. Anyway, whatever. I don't know. Megan Fox is. I don't know. I can't make any
never form
judgments.
an opinion on like.
I haven't seen a movie with her in it.
Especially
so.
someone who gets so slammed for nothing.
Yeah.
It's not even like really a character flaw she gets slammed for. It's bad acting and being pretty.
Being in a Michael Bay movie, like, I guess you set yourself up for failure. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of casting as well, young Han Solo has been cast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and speaking of reboots and reimaginings and it's Alden Ehrenreich.
I need to look this up. Give me a second.
He was in Beautiful Creatures. I've never seen that.
I've seen that. That's old-ish.
No,
It's with Kate Winslet?
it's like 2013, I think.
Then never mind. It's not what I'm thinking.
I guess he was in the newest Coen Brothers movie, Hail Caesar, and then I guess he was in Stoker too, but I don't remember him being in Stoker. That's the Park Chan-wook movie.
Let me see his. Oh yeah, I remember him in Stoker.
Yeah, was he a creep? Like everyone else in Stoker?
Yeah, yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah, so I
He's
don't
got
know.
that douchebag smile. He could do it.
Yeah, just because you can though doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
So I'm really excited for Rogue One. I think Rogue One has the potential to be like the best Star Wars movie
Yeah, me too.
to date, because it's doing its own thing, and obviously it's a Star Wars movie that's based on a universe that is already established.
And it's going off into that universe as opposed to staying on the treaded path.
Right, but going back to Han Solo is just, it's so tired. Like, do we really have to go back to the well?
That would
Like,
be the best if he's just literally in the background and you don't even know it. You just know it because he was cast. They were like, they announced this casting. That would be the best. I'm sorry, I keep creating these weird scenarios of this movie that hasn't come out yet, where like Mads Mikkelsen's a robot in my version. Han Solo is literally in the background.
That would be nice.
My whole movie is just a twist on what fans are expecting.
Subversive. But it is a Han Solo movie, a young Han Solo movie, so.
Like the Young Anthony movie?
Yeah, those. Yep, exactly like that. Yep, it's gonna be terrible. I don't know. I don't care. I like Han Solo as like an archetype, like in a group he works.
Yeah.
In the group, in
You
the
never wanna see
original
a
Star
whole
Wars,
movie with
right?
him.
The original Star Wars he worked because he was surrounded by characters that were more diverse and they all played off each other. But like just seeing how, like, who gives a fuck? Like, I was a smuggler and then I like did some bad shit and got in debt with the Hutts and then I met Chewbacca. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just seems like a reason. It just seems counterintuitive to like everything else Disney is doing with Star Wars, which is, I think, pretty innovative. And this just seems like a step backwards, where it's like, oh, we can like make references and put Chewbacca in there and Boba Fett, and like it's just gonna be super fan servicey, or not. I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts on that, but we'll see. And then him as an actor, I don't really have a barometer for any of that because I don't, like I said, I don't remember him in Stoker, and I haven't seen any of those other movies. I kind of want to see Hail Caesar though, but anyway.
I do want to see that too.
Yeah. I think that's it for news. Civil War's out. Yeah. I really want to see Winter Soldier. That was the second Captain America movie.
I haven't seen any of the Captain America movies.
It's really good. I like the first one, and I haven't seen Winter Soldier, so this just seems, I don't know. It seems, I would never poo-poo something without seeing it, but it seems counter to the rest of the Captain America series because one is so strong as its own thing, and then two I heard is like a cool spy espionage thriller that like just happens to have Captain America in it. So like him as a character is kind of to me, but those stories seem interesting. So that's out. And then Deadpool's out on DVD, so everybody pick up Deadpool at Hot Topic when you're picking up your fishnets and belly button earrings. I don't know what they sell at Hot
Belly
Topic.
button earrings.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the belly button.
The belly button
motifed earring.
Yeah. Well, no, it's an ear. There's an ear on your belly button.
I heard the inverse, but okay.
Yeah. Earrings.
Either way is amazing.
Earrings for, whatever parts. All the parts that kids are piercing these days. So, if you tuned in last week, you would know that this week's movies are... Come on, audience. Waterworld! Waterworld. Waterworld from 95, directed by Kevin Reynolds, and The Postman,
Directed
97.
by Kevin Costner.
Directed by Kevin Costner, starring Kevin Costner, produced by Kevin Costner.
Full of Kevin Costner's little brats.
Yeah, so we arrived at the Kevin Costner intersection in life somehow, and we took the path less Costnered. I don't know.
Definitely not less Costner.
Going
I
with
think it was
this.
more Costner.
It was so Costnered. Holy shit. Okay, let's talk about Waterworld.
Waterworld.
That's a movie.
It's
So,
a movie.
yeah, we set aside 18 hours to watch these two movies. Waterworld being the first one. I saw Waterworld when I was a young boy.
Me too.
You were a young boy?
I was.
Oh man, it's weird.
Little Raymond.
Well, actually, people don't know that you're a girl. We've never said it.
True.
So.
I could be a dog.
Yeah. What? Anyway, so I saw Waterworld when I was young. How's math work? I was eight or 9.
Really? I
Yeah.
saw it when I was wee babes.
Well, that's when it came out. When I was 8 or 9. So.
I was 95.
Yeah. I was born in '87.
Right.
8. So.
You're right.
I remember liking it as a kid, but I liked everything as a kid. I liked eating dirt and.
At 8?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I ate dirt until I was about 17-ish. So that explains a lot about me. Anyway, I remember a lot about this movie,
Me too.
even though it's like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's a good thing, or I'm not saying that that's the movie's iconic, but I would say it's a very visual movie because there's no story really.
There's a story.
No,
There's definitely a story. There's definitely people trying to get from point A to point B, and there's a reason for they're going that way.
So do you? A lot of times I'll gauge a story like its merits. Has the world or people in the beginning of the story, have they changed by the end?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I don't think anything changed in this movie. What I'm trying to say is I don't think this is a good movie, and I don't think this is a particularly good story. But the visuals are interesting.
I'll give you that. Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's not
silly.
particularly
It's silly.
good.
No.
But yeah, you can tell that it was expensive.
Oh yeah.
Because the world is very well built in
Holy shit.
it. Detail-wise.
Yeah.
It looks like they're running around in a theme park.
Yeah, they're running around in Japan, Universal Studios. So in the future, the world is flooded. Everybody lives on a boat or a floaty thing, and dry land is legend.
Yeah.
No one has been or seen dry land in forever, and Kevin Costner plays a nameless, silent protagonist who doesn't do much during the movie except for action stuff.
He's action movie
And
man.
He's
With
action movie
skills.
man. Right. And
Ichthyosapien.
I don't like that you know that.
They said it like 10 times in the movie.
Moving on. And there's a girl, Enola, who has supposedly a map to Dryland tattooed on her back, and that's the movie. The bad guys are trying to get the map so they can get dry land for reasons, and that's it.
So they can establish a base.
Sure, yeah, even though they have one already.
But it's a boat base.
It's a
not
boat
like
base.
a country base.
Yeah.
Doesn't have renewable systems.
They want to put a flag in something.
I think they
Right.
want to be able to grow food.
Okay, that would
Have
probably be a
good
thing too.
water since they're using it as currency.
Yeah. Do they? So Kevin Costner fishes all the time, or frequently during the movie. He's eating fish and he's drinking his own pee. It's the first scene in the movie. That's
Do a filter.
if you're gonna do a first scene in a movie called Waterworld, you might as well have the first scene be your main character drinking his own pee.
Directed by Bear Grylls.
Yeah, establishes a lot. So I don't even know how to talk about this movie.
How about in the context of 90s action films?
It's okay. When I think of 90s action films, I think of like Verhoeven and James Cameron, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're always big and they're loud and they're obnoxious and they're non-stop action.
Oh, this one had
And this one has
action?
it's so slow. The pacing sucks. Like there's always something going on, but there's a lot of just sailing, and during which you can maybe do some character development, but they don't really
They
do
tried.
any of that. They
They
I
actually
guess.
did try.
With what?
With character development, that's what those lapses were. They were talking about characters and also showing characters'
They're
traits.
just showing time moving.
Really?
And like for example.
For example, the boat scene where another boat comes up
Mm-hmm.
and the woman insists on trading, whose name I've forgotten, because there's Enola and her mom,
Mhm.
who isn't really her mom.
Right.
What's her name?
Her caretaker, lady. I don't.
I don't remember her name.
Sure.
The Catherine Heigl look-alike.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she wants to trade with the guy on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
She makes him trade. There is that scene.
She makes him trade.
She makes him stop and trade with this guy.
Oh. I thought that was more world building.
I don't know, because that's kind of what... I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah.
The female character made a decision in the movie. Unlike another 90s action film you recently made me watch.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to compare to Waterworld.
Yeah, that's fair.
Terminator. James Cameron.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one to watch,
Uh-huh.
I would watch Waterworld over
Boo! Boo!
Because one of them definitely has Stockholm Syndrome and the other doesn't. Yeah, so on that merit, I'm going to give Waterworld more points for trying to develop the female character.
We're not comparing those.
We are!
Oh no.
I just did it!
You can compare it to Postman.
No, that's not fair. Wait, Terminator to Postman? Or what?
No, Waterworld to Postman.
Oh.
That's totally fair.
I'm just trying to
Kevin Costner in a post-apocalypse.
point out something about Waterworld.
Yeah.
So it gets panned a lot for
Uh-huh.
things it never did.
Exactly. It doesn't do anything.
No, it's quite a bit. It tries more than other action films of its era, and I feel like that's why it did so poorly financially.
Yeah, I'll give it credit. But if you're talking of the era, Terminator's 85.
Was it? 85? So it's 10
or
years
83,
prior.
yeah.
Okay, so there was a bit
old.
more.
If you want to compare it to Terminator 2, that's fair. It's better than Terminator 2.
I need to rewatch.
Terminator 2 sucks because the whole fucking movie is just, I'm a kid. John Connor's just an annoying brat, and he never shuts up, and he's a dumb teenager. And once you put a kid
So
in
then
your
we
movie,
can put two kid comparisons.
yeah,
So maybe we
I'd
should-
rather have Enola around. John Connor sucks. Anyway,
So we need to do a post.
Sure.
A post to this podcast viewing
Yeah.
of Terminator 2 in comparison to Waterworld.
Exactly.
That'll be our new segment.
Yeah. I'd rather watch Terminator 2, but if you cut out all the parts of John Connor, it's a better movie.
Mm.
Anyway, back to Waterworld.
Oh, okay.
Waterworld. So Waterworld obviously has the problem of its own lore and its own world that it's made.
It's
It
so.
contradicts itself quite frequently.
How so?
Okay, well, for as far as like time is concerned, so Kevin Costner's character, the half fish man,
Yeah.
has evolved to the point where he has gills,
Yes.
and that would take millions of years.
It probably wouldn't happen, but yes.
Right.
I think he'd get a blowhole like a dolphin. If I had to.
I think I'd prefer that. But you know what I'm saying. Like millions of years have passed.
Yeah.
Either people would be dead by now, or they would have found land and established civilization again.
Correct.
So, and then there's a scene where he goes to the bottom of the ocean and shows lady character that look, the world is flooded, and there's broken cities, decrepit cityscapes under the ocean. Not that far under the ocean,
Yeah.
actually. Everyone in the movie speaks Portuguese, which I assume is a hybrid of Portuguese and Greek. Why are they speaking Portuguese? I get that might be picked up and adapted in a situation or world like that, but Greek?
I feel like
Greek's dead now.
Greek isn't dead now.
It's dead. It's a dead language. It's dead.
No, there's a country that still speaks it, and
That's dead. They're in debt.
a huge
They're barely a country.
fishing economy, and I think that was the joke there.
Yeah.
Portugal, well, not Portugal, Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Portugal actually, because they're on the whatever, the Aegean Sea with Greece.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like maybe there.
Yeah, I get the joke.
So I feel like that's the joke there, was the fishing.
Right. But the fact that they still have they still speak English too. Just the fact that there is language when millions of years supposedly.
Yeah.
Or you could say then Kevin Costner's character hyper evolved. He evolved super quick, or his species did. That still doesn't make sense.
What if they make a prologue and it's actually like a deliberate mutation, and there's like a lab on dry land that's capturing humans and making them ichthyosapiens? Oh my god, I cannot speak at all.
Then I don't want to.
Directed by Kevin Costner.
I don't want to see that prologue.
Starring
No.
Costner Child.
Yeah.
1 and Costner Child 2.
Costner Child 2. Oh, is there anything you liked about Waterworld?
Me?
Yeah.
I like the knickknacks. I think
Yeah.
they're pretty cool knickknacks, and I like the boat. I want the boat. That's pretty. Well, sorry, catamaran, right?
Yeah.
Those are what those are called.
Sure. It's
Yeah.
a sailboat. That stuff. Yeah. The.
I would love a full-scale theme park, not just a show.
Yeah.
At Universal Japan. Come
Sure.
on.
Let's go. Yeah. I would say that has Waterworld has that in common with the Postman, which is like the production values are pretty good.
I feel like they tried less. They didn't do as much knickknacks. Like there was so much zooming in of little things that they put in there. It was like an
Yeah.
I Spy in Waterworld. Whereas Postman, I felt like they stepped away from that.
But
Everything
they-
you saw was like actual things now.
Right, but I think they had to do that too because the world is so scarce, and if you do the wide shots, it's
It's
the
just
ocean.
water.
Yeah, so but yeah, especially the first scene where he visits the first town, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's the thing. Like, there's really good world building in here for like a world that should be like not that interesting, right? Like the world is flooded and there are just kind of pirates everywhere now.
Well,
It like really shouldn't be that, at least aesthetically, to look at. But like they do a really good job. Like that first scene when he's in the town and he goes to the shop, quote unquote,
Yeah.
and she's got like one
Tomato
knickknack,
plant.
one tomato plant, and that's it. Like it that like tells a story right there. Like there is nothing. Like obviously we've shown that the world is covered in ocean, but like there's nothing. Yeah. Also, the world's ocean, getting fresh water. Like, come on, everybody's dead in this world. But yeah, no.
It's a junk science.
That's a really stupid thing to gripe about too. But I don't know. I have to point it out because This world couldn't exist, but in the context of the movie, what's there is sort of interesting. But holy shit, this movie's too long, and I personally, one of my pet peeves is, oh wow, brain fart.
Yes, pet peeve?
My pet peeve is brain farts. My pet peeves is, like, silent protagonists. Like, Nicholas Winding Refn does it, and it really annoys me. I like his movies still, despite the fact that all his protagonists are kind of like, you know, silent.
All his protagonists aren't really protagonists.
But they're exactly like his main characters, quote unquote,
okay, there we go.
are like they're like concepts or
Yeah.
like evolving.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. But like in the context of an action movie,
That's
it's like,
what I needed that time I was doing the speech about where I started going conceptual, and I was like, if someone was a symbol for something in a movie, entirely a symbol more than a character. That's what I was. He does it.
Okay.
Sorry, flashback.
Post edit. What is that?
That was last podcast.
Was it the last podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So just listen to the last one and then
You'll know what
fast
I'm talking
forward
about.
to this part and then go back and then continue listening to this one. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I don't know. In the context of an action movie, having a silent protagonist is kind of annoying because I want my action movie dude to be like, especially 90s action movies. He needs to be a cool action movie guy. He needs to say cool, dumb stuff. He needs to have one-liners.
Nah.
Yeah, they were avant-garde. They were going against the grain. Fuck you, Schwarzenegger. Predator's really good. And Terminator.
Predator doesn't say anything. He just
Yeah.
sucks.
Action
he's
movie.
the protagonist of that movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. No, Jesse Ventura is. So Waterworld.
So,
How about that Waterworld?
I think with some minor edits, it's still a great kids movie.
Yeah, it's a good kids movie. Although,
Especially if your kids have a pool.
I would almost recommend Treasure Planet over that.
Oh,
if we're talking
yeah.
boat adventure,
But that's in both in
seafaring.
space.
Yeah, but it's still about. I don't know. It evokes the
Are you
same
thinking Treasure Island
feeling.
or Treasure Planet?
Treasure Planet, the space boats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, space pirates. Basically.
Which
yeah.
is based off of Treasure Island.
Right.
Actual pirates.
But it evokes the same feelings. So, yeah, Waterworld's rough to go back to. But before I forget, Dennis Hopper, rest in peace. Oh, holy shit, he's my favorite part of this movie because he's so hammy. That is one consistent through line with a lot of the movies we've been watching that are kind of terrible. Most of the time, the villains are pretty good because they're either not giving a fuck or they're, just there to be like dirty, greasy, shitty guys. So they're just sitting back there chewing up scenery. Like when they do get the spotlight, they really shine. So yeah, Dennis Hopper's great, and his fake eye. That part always grossed me out when I was a kid too.
The fake eye?
Yeah, the fake eye.
Aw.
Because the first scene where they're putting it in and it pops out,
Yeah.
like that prosthetic
The
for
fake
some
eyelashes
reason.
and everything.
Yeah, for some reason when I was a kid that looked real. I knew a kid with a fake eye, so yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So keeping on the theme of dystopian futures
And horrible Kevin Costner.
and horrible Kevin Costner. Well, what's a good Kevin Costner film? Moving on. The Postman. The Postman.
Get it?
The Post-Apocalypse Man. Okay, alright. Wow. This was a movie about I can't summarize this movie. Can you? Can you try at least?
So this movie It is about the post-apocalypse, of which we don't know. We're assuming it involves something radioactive because the water is affected.
There's a war. They did mention a war.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a wasteland, very similar to a popular video game right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there are fortifications with tiny societies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a man
Mm-hmm.
with a mule
Mm-hmm.
who's traveling.
Another nameless, silent, well, not silent protagonist, but a nameless protagonist.
He gets named, doesn't
He's referred to as Shakespeare and the Postman,
Yeah.
basically, but he doesn't have a name. I'm sure.
Okay.
Because that's character building, and they don't do that in this movie, so, anyway. Well, they try to, but...
So yeah, he travels the fortification society peoples performing Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. For food.
To his best ability?
Yeah. And then he gets captured, and all sorts of stuff happens, and then he basically impersonates a postal worker
Mm-hmm.
when his whole life has gone askew.
True American heroes,
Yes.
right? Is that what the message of this movie is supposed to be?
To be honest, I can't tell what the message of this movie is supposed to be.
There's no message. This movie's a mess. Right, so there's an apocalypse, the big bads in this movie are the outlaw gangs that have formed,
Oh, yeah.
or the gang that has formed to try to not reestablish a system, but kind of do their own draconian thing, and
Allusions to all the big bads.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's all the things put together, the big bad in this one.
Yeah.
And Kevin Costner's character, his whole character arc is built on a lie, because he finds a postman's uniform and impersonates a postman and uses that influence to get access to a town by lying and saying that the U.S. government has been reestablished and the post office is a thing again. So, and then like 8 hours pass, and then Tom Petty shows up, and then some people shoot guns, and then the movie's over.
Yes.
Yes.
It kind of circles back in on itself there. Like, there was a very prolonged thing that they tried,
Mm-hmm.
but by the time they got to it, you almost forgot.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems almost like a twist,
But it's not.
but it's not. It's
Right.
more like bad writing.
Yeah. Trying to be clever, Postman. Nope, missed the mark.
It has a feeling of like a mini series.
Yeah, with all the montages and cuts and.
It's like, in case you forgot, here's this montage.
Yeah.
This is what's going on right now. Cue
Yeah.
the theme song.
The weird roller coaster pace, or not roller coaster. What am I trying to say? The up and down, the ups and downs, the ebb and flow of the pace is just so like tiring at times, and then when the action picks up, it's very brief.
It does feel like a roller coaster. It's like something that goes uphill,
Mm-hmm.
chugs along, and then falls really fast with action, and then chugs along again.
Yeah, but not in a good way, because you like roller coasters, right?
That's true. I can't say I really liked this one.
Yeah.
Roller coasters are short.
Yeah. Contrary to Waterworld, I don't think this one was trying to do the action movie thing, but I'm not sure
No,
what it was
what?
trying to do. So both of these are obvious love letters to Mad Max, right? It's like Mad
I
Max.
feel like Waterworld more so. Waterworld was done with the same
Waterworld was.
cinematographer as
Right.
Mad Max.
Mad Max, or yeah, it's like, hey, Mad Max is arid desert, here's water.
Yeah.
But it's the same situation.
Postman
basically.
felt more like Kevin Costner was like, this is what I would have done if I was in complete control of Waterworld. And then he like begins with that homage with water, and then he's like, I
Right.
can make it better, and I can make it more American, and that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's just really
Feels very pandery and not going for patriotic, but kind of missing it. I mean, this movie's bad. Like it's a really bad movie, and it's like well known that it's bad. It's kind of universally panned, but
I had never even
like
heard of this one before you mentioned it.
really,
Really?
really. Oh, this is like this is a mark on his career, like a dark spot on his career is like a very low point.
Yeah, I'm
Where
feeling it. Yeah, I
he
think
directed-
Waterworld made his career tank, and then this was an attempt to say, well,
Yeah.
make himself feel better for Waterworld, but then he really fucked up.
Yeah, I don't like I don't think Waterworld is bad in the context of like it cost so much money
Yeah.
and like financially it bombed, but like if it hadn't, it might have been it might have been like a mediocre
Right.
like fun summer movie or something.
Yeah.
But just like to make that or to like in reference or in context to all that like the money and the budget and stuff, like it was a failure, quote
Right.
unquote. But like this is just like an all around like bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Like everything about it, like the acting, the story, the directing
I agree. It's
is terrible. So like I
This is
don't
where
know.
Kevin Costner realized he was a problem in
Yeah.
Waterworld, as opposed to redeeming himself.
So what do you think is this film's biggest failure? Because I have two in mind, but I can't really decide which one.
What I feel like was the biggest failure in this was it felt very self-righteous.
Yeah.
Which is probably what made me feel like it's an attempt at redemption too.
Yeah.
It felt really self-righteous.
So like tone, because I think
The tone of it
I want
was
to say
really
tone.
wrong.
I really want to say tone
'Cause the
because I can say the writing and the characters blah blah blah, but like whatever.
The characters weren't believable
Right.
at all. The way they interacted with the main character was very much like a character that is the only character that's thought about in the context of the writing, if that makes sense. Like, I know how he's going to interact with these pawns. Everybody
Yeah.
else felt like a pawn. They didn't
Mhm.
feel like a character.
Yeah. I think I would say tone because it's like trying to be slapstick sometimes.
Yeah.
Trying to be comedic and then trying to be dark and then it's just all over the place, so it doesn't.
I'm okay
Work.
with tone that does that as long as it works and it's believable, because people do that. But, like, it didn't work. in this.
But like in the context of a movie, and especially one where it's in like a post-apocalypse or
Mhm.
in, like a dystopian future, like you kind of gotta pick it. Like that's why something like The Road works, is because it's so dark and
Yeah.
so like heavy. The whole movie is very heavy. Like it's a weight that you're carrying throughout the movie, and when you get to the end, it's like either the weight is lifted or you can deal like
Or you get
you learn to
crushed by it.
right you learn to deal with the weight, or it is crushing and your
I
soul
think that
is
one is
crushed.
very splitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be either optimistic or cynical
Right,
about
or
the
you're-
interpretation of the ending.
It's soul crushing, right? And it's just like this apocalypse is like too fun sometimes. Like people are singing and dancing and
I'm okay with that, because that's what a real apocalypse like that would be, I feel like.
would it?
But not like it is in this movie, but I feel like tonally it would still be people and the tone changes when you're in your everyday life all the time. So I feel like that's okay
Oh, okay.
if the characters were better.
Yeah, I like my apocalypses dark and brooding and
Well,
gross.
I would not like to join you on your apocalypse. I'll stick with mine.
Okay. Yeah, this has also the same problem as Waterworld, which is its own world contradicts itself constantly. So
Oh, this one was
sim-
even more
this is
so.
this is the
one was
most
so
the most egregious, where it's like holy shit, the civilization has collapsed to the point where there is no government, but Tom Petty still exists. And he's
it's
still Tom
15
Petty.
years after the apocalypse is what they literally say in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like people don't know how stuff works anymore.
So the apocalypse happens, and then it takes 15 years for people to unlearn words, become really stupid. Phone lines don't work, and no one knows how to reestablish communication beyond writing letters. And they don't even do that because Kevin Costner has to be the catalyst for that. And then like I said, the entire government collapses, and a roving gang of outlaws has taken over, and is imposing like their own tax system on settlements. So
A feudal system.
in 15 years, holy shit! I mean, it's almost foreshadowing, right? In real life, oh, I mean, like.
You mean if Trump became president?
Forget I said anything. Anyway, yeah, the world doesn't like the world's cool, like I guess because okay, you do have stuff like Fallout,
Yeah.
New Vegas, and the last Fallout for the games, the video games. They draw so much influence from Mad Max and the Postman too. Like there is an homage to the Postman.
I feel like the pit, that one
In
pit
Fallout.
you go into is very much the pit at the beginning of Postman that he gets captured by the group that I forget already. The no.
Oh yeah, wait, what? What pit?
The pit where they're training raiders. You have to help the guy get the Mirelurks out of the water, and then you come back next and it's a raider camp, and he's training raiders.
Oh,
and Mirelurks.
okay, yeah. Yeah, that's an homage. Yeah, that's an homage. And then there's literally a postman uniform in the game that like is secluded enough to be an homage. Like it's not like it's a little subversive, but it's still like, look at this thing we did because wink wink, you know. So it's like the look of this movie, I'm okay with the look. Like the aesthetics, like the costume design is interesting. Like it's obviously people are too far gone for their own future.
Right.
Like that they have quote unquote established, but like maybe that's it. Like if they would have said like it's 200 years after the apocalypse, like okay, I can believe that. Like people are, you know, wearing rags and like there really isn't anything left. But like
speaking in transatlantic accents again for some
reason.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I'm me personally, I'm very like I'm enamored with like post-apocalypse and dystopian style movies, like, and it's never the apocalypse itself that is interesting. Obviously, it's always what happens after and how do people react and live with that apocalypse. Like that's the interesting thing, right? Like people at their lowest point. What are they going to do? How do they adapt? Because a conflict like that will either like bring the best out in people or the worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like kind of the whole crux of like a lot of post-apocalyptic stories. So like I'm really interested in a movie that will set itself in that, but this could have been in any time. Like this story could have been. You know what I mean? Like you could just it didn't have to
just
be
not
the apocalypse.
15 years after.
Right. You could just say like, oh, the post office stopped, or like the government shut down, like temporarily or something, or like the post office stopped. Like, if it was just modern times, the post office is done, and people can't like, and that's the only way people can communicate, because obviously we're not like nitpicking plot devices here. So like, if that's the only people, like the way people, or you said it before phones or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you do that story, like that could be interesting. That has the potential to be an interesting story. But like plopping this into a post-apocalyptic setting just cause, and like it feels like, I don't know, it feels like the story worked around that rather than kind of weaving it into that. So, but yeah, like what, like, I don't know, do you like those kind of stories?
I'm very ambivalent toward apocalypse movies because, yeah, I don't know. It falls too much into that sort of dichotomy. There's like two different ways that people tend to write those, and they focus solely on those ways, and that really rubs me wrong. Because I'm like, apocalypse is obviously something, or even if it is isolated, but usually you think of it in a sort of global context. If it's an apocalypse, either someone would be helping another country. If it is just like an isolated area, like 28 Days Later actually did that really well.
Yeah, one of the 8 endings. Or
one of the really good merits of 28 Days Later that I liked was how they kind of like made that sort of an awareness at the end. It was like, oh, actually, it's just you guys.
Right, because that possibility is always there.
Right.
Especially when you're, the lens is so focused on one thing, and like as a director, you can use that to subvert a lot of expectations, which could be a cool thing.
Yeah.
But like, you liked Fury. Did you like Fury Road?
I did like Fury Road.
And that's like,
I loved Fury Road, actually.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And like that apocalypse is interesting. Aside from Mad Max and his like those pre-established story beats and stuff, because it really isn't about Mad Max at all, right? But it's like that world that George Miller builds is so, like, he does so much with so little, but it's like everything else is so interesting that I'm never like, well, how did this apocalypse happen? Like, why did it happen? When did it happen? Blah, you know what I mean? Like,
That's
you're never
what I like
asking
about the road.
questions. Yeah, exactly. The road makes it super ambiguous as to what happened.
You have no idea what happened, but it happened.
But it happened, and
it's
because
about this boy and his father.
Right, and it doesn't matter half the time,
Yeah.
right? It never matters why.
If they can explain it really
Or
well, I can't think of any movie that has ever done that, where they've explained how the apocalypse happened very well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I'm gonna give it that possibility. There might be a movie where it explains a decent possible apocalypse. But yeah, generally if they try to explain it, it's probably horrible.
Yeah, and it's I equate it to like time travel movies. Like, if you're gonna have time travel in your movie, don't explain it because you're just gonna contradict yourself, and it's gonna be a mess. People are gonna pick it apart. It's just something there. Like, it's like anything else. It's a plot device. But if you don't like highlight it and draw attention to it as to being a plot device, then people will forget. Or, you know what I mean? Not forget, but like, it won't matter as much.
Right.
That it is just a plot device, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I will always, I'm like a sucker for these like post-apocalypse movies, but like, I'll always give them a try. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where I get iffy, because like some of them are so cynical. It's kind of like in the realm of Game of Thrones, where I'm like thinking that's basically an apocalypse show.
Yeah, right.
But it's where it's like focused on the complete cynical route, where it gets frustrating. Where I'm just like, I can't even.
Yeah.
Like even give it time, because it's not a real world to me at all.
Right.
It's not expanding on the people who would be good people in those, who would rise to the occasion. Japan post-earthquake versus Britain looting thing.
Yeah, like speaking of Japan, I was about to say, like, one of the best post-apocalypse, like, you want to argue semantics, like, I will argue that one of the best post-apocalypse movies is Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, yes.
Because you know, like, an apocalypse doesn't, like you said earlier, like, it doesn't have to encompass the entire world, although that sort of did. World War II definitely was a world war, but
it was
apocalyptic. Right, it was very focused on characters, and the apocalypse was it was integral to the story, as well as being like a quote-unquote plot device.
Right.
So it's like something like that, or Mad Max. Mad Max just being like an outrageous action movie.
Yeah, I don't really putting those two together is kind of different.
Or Fury Road, I should say.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like Fury Road.
Exactly,
too,
like you can do
different tones.
but you can. The point being, you can do a post-apocalypse in any style of movie, and it can work if those characters are strong enough and stuff. But what movie were we talking about? Oh, The Postman's bad. Wow, it's bad.
It's forgettable.
I'll give it, that it did kind of have a slight cultural influence on stuff like Fallout, which I love Fallout too. Like 800 hours in that game or something.
3 characters.
Yeah. I may have a problem, but yeah, it did culturally influence some stuff like that, and it, like I said, the the world is kind of cool, even if it doesn't make sense. But yeah, like the rest of the movie, holy shit.
Kind of fits really well in Fallout as a reference too, because it feels like a 40s movie, like a 40s 50s sci-fi type movie. It's got that sort of junky, but actually Waterworld more so. Not sci-fi. Waterworld more is that junk science feeling. It's like the future is scary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fallout's whole thing is the retro future, and the fall of mankind it's because of its own hubris and whatnot. Like that is one case where they do explain the apocalypse, and that is interesting because like you could see that as a real alternate universe where the United States did have this massive nuclear power build up, and then it all blew up in its face. Literally. So play Fallout 4 instead of watching The Postman. And actually, you could just make Kevin Costner in Fallout 4.
I'm wondering if that's actually when I was watching The Postman. That was the biggest thing I was wondering is like, has someone done a playthrough that reenacts basically this whole movie?
Yeah.
With horses, they'd have to get a mod.
That's right.
That's the only thing that's missing.
And horse armor. Wow, Kevin Costner. Let's not watch any more Kevin Costner movies.
Actually, after watching these, I really want to see Robin Hood again, just to see how horrible it is with my adult eyes.
I've never seen that, I don't think. But
really?
Like, I think I saw the Russell Crowe Robin.
That's newer.
Is that newer?
Yeah, this one was older. It's got Alan Rickman, Morgan Freeman, some lady who's a lady back then. I can't
decide if Robin Hood is a good pun because it's good, like, he's Robin for the hood, or if it's a bad pun and I like it because it's bad. Like, robbing the rich and feeding the hood. Is that a good pun or a bad pun? I can't tell. I don't know.
That's a bad pun?
It's a stupid pun, but I don't know if I like it because of it.
I thought it was because his hood was Robin color.
Oh, that's it. You nailed it.
It's an old story.
Yeah.
I don't think they.
Also, Robin Hood in my head is a fox, so. And that's gonna do it. So close.
That melody.
Yeah.
It's loading. It's loading. Oh well.
Okay. Maybe next time. No emails this week. If you guys want to email, we're ithinkahatemovies@gmail.com. Tumblr is on the page, links, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I think, oh jeez, I always fuck this up. I think I hate movies.tumblr.com?
Yes.
Yeah. Visit that at Anonymous Asks Around. And we will see you guys next week. Oh god, what are we watching?
We could be still doing the twisty one.
The twisty one? Oh, Shyamalan's? We have to let them know so they can watch.
It was supposed to be a twist.
It's a twist. We're not watching anything. This podcast is over. This is the last episode.
We've been dead the whole time.
And we've been dead the whole time. It's a dumb joke. Bad joke.
You may have broke your
That's like Robin Hood. So we might do... What are we going to do? Unbreakable. And
I thought we were going to do this whole thing since we've already knocked out 3 of them, basically.
But we're going to make the audience watch every M. Night movie?
We'll make them think about every M. Night movie and whether or not they want to watch them. How about
No. Your homework assignment this week is
M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan. We're probably, let's see, we've watched Sixth Sense and Signs in the past week or so.
And Devil.
Oh, and Devil. Holy shit, Devil. Devil's his recent one, yeah. So we got Lady in the Water.
We're not doing Avatar.
No, we're not doing Avatar.
I don't need to see that again.
We don't need to see it, and I can go on for days. Blah, 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 blah.
Village.
Marginalized people, blah, 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 blah. The Village. Is that? Yeah, The Village.
There's another one. I feel like there's another one.
Lady in the Water, Unbreakable, The Village. That's what we have to watch still, right?
Yeah.
Oh, The Happening.
Fuck.
We should probably watch that.
No, there isn't another one. I was kidding.
Because plants? I don't know. So yeah.
Oh, The Visit, the new one.
No, I don't want to watch that. That's stupid.
I want to watch it because I haven't seen that one.
You can watch it by yourself.
All right, and then I'll talk about it on the pod. And
By
you have to
yourself.
Suffer.
Okay. M. Night Shyamalan hates old people. Confirmed. Okay, yeah. So next week is going to be the Shyamalan cast, I guess. And that's gonna do it. We have,
Or
oh
we
God.
can vote which ones we compare. All three of you.
Okay, go to vote on things.com/cool/.org.
Or just put it in the comments.
.bike.
And we'll do the math because it's only
Yes.
gonna be like 3 people maybe.
Put it in a comment or send a e-word. Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. That's the show.
Look, you made a fish.
Bye bye.